want to show you more than just one day. I'm thankful for the love you've given each and every way. This Christmas I give to you by being all that I can be, so I can return to you the joy you bring to me. It's not about gifts for me, not even about a Christmas tree. I'm asking you, what can I give? Jesus, you're the reason I live. Who cares about stockings filled? Said my heart has been healed. This Christmas I give you me. You see, we take for granted this happy holiday. We never think the real life manger is where he had to lay. While you're in your homes with family and friends, but my Savior never had a pillow to lay his precious head. I wonder who remembers it's his birthday. Not just thinking of what they'll receive. The price you paid I never will forget. You're the reason for the season. I truly believe. Not about this for me, not even about a Christmas tree. Lord, I'm asking you, what can I give? Jesus, you're the reason I live. Who cares about stockings filled? Singing, my heart has been healed. This Christmas I give you me. Said, I wonder who remembers it's your birthday. Not just thinking of what they'll receive. The price you paid I never will forget. You're the reason for the season. I truly believe. Not just for me, not even about a Christmas tree. I'm asking you, what can I give? Jesus, you're the reason I live. Who cares about stockings filled? Singing, my heart has been healed. This Christmas, whoa, this Christmas, and I know this Christmas, Lord, yeah, this Christmas, I give you me.
And now, without any further ado, help me welcome our pastor as she comes to bring the word of God. Give her a hearty amen.
It's good to be here this morning. Thank God for another day. Oh, I'm so glad this is come and over. It just runs you here and runs you there. I know it's about Jesus' birthday, but I worship him every day. So it's not like I got to just go one time. I'm grateful for all that he has done. It's a good thing to serve God. Good thing. Yeah, I want to preach to you this morning, coming from Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter. Father, we're grateful today for your blessings, for all that you've done for us. What a privilege it is to come to your house, to worship you, to lift you up in praise. I pray, God, that you would bless your people in a special way. I pray, God, that you would anoint thy servant, for without you I can do nothing. With you I can do anything. I pray, God, that you might be glorified and calm the wind a little bit for us, and we'll praise you. In Jesus' name, amen, amen. When the wind started blowing like that on the ocean, Jesus just stood up and said, peace, be still. Let me try that, peace, be still. Yes, yes. Okay, 3rd chapter of Deuteronomy says, and the 15th verse says, see, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil. In that I command thee this day to love the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways, to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. But if your heart turn away so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them, I denounce unto you this day that we shall surely perish, and that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land which whether thou passest over Jordan to get to possess it. I think I'm going to stop there. I guess what I want to deal with is that what God did for us was a good thing. And he did it because he loved us. Now understand this, that what God gave man was freedom to choose. That's what he gave us. So I don't have to do it this way. I don't have to do it that way. I can choose what I want to do. So as I think about that this morning, I thought, don't man make the worst choices in the world? God said, I'm going to give you, I set before you, and look at this when he said this, I set this day life and good. But then he said, and death and evil. So death and evil is there, and then life and good is connected. So I think if people really want to look at their lives, they'll say, everything I'm going through in my life today has something to do with me making a bad choice. Think about it. What did I do with my life? You get them, you start making choices. Every one of us, once we become of age, and we thought we were grown, we said, I'm going to do this because this is what I want to do, and I don't have to do it that your way. Or that's what man has, a rebellious spirit. Very tough and hard to deal with. And when they get to that point, God sometimes have to literally break them if they're going to get into the kingdom, because you ain't going to get in there no other way. And so he said, I gave you the choice. Now you make the decision. Here it is. You can choose good, you can choose bad. It's your choice. And too many times do we choose things that are bad. And then we wonder why it turned out the way it did. You cannot actually make a bad choice and expect good to proceed, to come from that. It's not going to happen. So I think we're to a point in our lives we have to make a decision. This up and down stuff in here, over there, I may, no. What do you want to do? You going to heaven? Okay. You going to hell? Okay. Here's what's going to take you to hell. It's real easy for you. Here's what's going to take you to heaven. So I just want to show you and let you get a good look at where you are to say, you know what? I am thankful to God that you and I made the right decision. Is there people here today who didn't make the right decision, and you're still paying for it even now? Sometimes some decisions we make and choices we make, we go our entire life paying for it. That's not worth that. You got to think not just how it's going to affect my life today, but how is this going to affect me weeks and months down the road, and even years for that matter. So we want to be careful who we choose. We want to be careful who I hook up with, and we connect together, because then it's possible that your persuasion can somehow make me do it wrong too. I've never been a person that followed anybody. I was me. You didn't like it, that's okay. So look at this. God told Israel, he gave them so many great promises, and today we're drawing from those promises. He gave them promises. Now I'm an heir and joint heir of the kingdom. So they belong to me. And so when I looked at this, I thought, God, I can look at a lot of people and say, look what you did to your life. It's a mess. My son told me yesterday, my oldest son, the one I put out of the church in 2000, what a horrible life. What a horrible life. And when I think about that, I'm thinking, well, Lord, whatever you want to do, go ahead, I'll keep talking. When I think about it, I think, you had a good family. a good mom and dad, a good church, good sisters and brothers. You had everything. And I said, just go to college. I'll go to college and you can stay home until you finish college, because I didn't get a chance to go to college. But if you want to go to college, hey, I'll stand behind you and support you. And no, he didn't want to go to college. All my kids were pretty much, I say, had a little sense. I don't give them too much, but they're pretty bright, smart kids. And so he said, Mama, when I went home, picked up my phone, he was crying and crying. For 16 years, he has cried. And no doubt he's going to cry until the day, if God have mercy, take him out this world and give him a chance. It's tragic. You say, do you feel bad? No, I don't. I don't understand these parents who say, my kid this and that. I said, what did I do? Nothing. I did nothing wrong. I treated them right. I was a good mother. He was a good father. It was all good. You didn't have to take this road. And he did it anyway. God had mercy on Lamont and brought him back. The only thing he's going to get, hopefully, is to get to heaven. But there's nothing else in this world. He played a game. You don't play a game with the devil and think you're going to win. Nobody wins. My husband told him many years ago, he went to him and he said, you know what? He said, Junior, I'm going to tell you something. He was messing around with a woman then. He said, don't ever throw away your life for a whorish woman. She's never worth it. He said, if you don't remember anything else I told you, remember that they're never worth it. You lose everything you got. Everything you got, you just threw it to the wind and did your thing. And 16 years later, you are still feeling the pain and the crying. And tell Mama, I'm so sorry what I did to her. He ripped my heart out in pieces. And God so beautifully brought it back together. And I can truly say, though I did not approve of what he's done, I don't have any hatred for my son. I don't have any bad feeling. I just think you should have thought. Count up the cost, the song says. Count up what's this going to cost me. If you make that decision for this person or this woman or that woman, count up the cost. Is that going to last or is temporary? In many cases, it's temporary. We always pick temporal things. Paul said the things that we see, they are temporal. But the things that we don't see, they are eternal. That's what man don't want. He's not looking for anything here. He just want a quick high right here. I just want a quick high. Give me a shot of this and a shot of that and sniff a little bit of this. And still, honey, that stuff ain't what's happening. I heard we were at the house the other day before Matt got saved, and he was talking about all the things, some of the things, I'm not sure we didn't get all of them, but some of them that he did before he got saved. He said he didn't even believe in God. I don't believe any colored person. That's hard for me to believe. Because if nobody else believes in God, we know there's a God. I don't buy that stuff. But he kept coming to church. And then he said, the more he listened to what I was saying, and the more he looked at these people shouting and dancing, he said to himself, them folks ain't feeling nothing. And he told God that Sunday when he came, he said, I never believed that you was up there, but if you're up there, let me feel what they feel. So he came up in the prayer line, and I prayed for him, and he hit the floor like a rock. And he said, he got up and said, it's real. Yeah, it is. Now, he left the old life and came to a new life. How long you been saved, Matt? 13 years. And that's amazing. What God can do in a moment to a person's life to change them. But he was talking about some of the drugs that he used, and some of them was, you sitting up looking at a person, all of a sudden their face just starts melting. It ain't melting, that's your brain is gone. The man's face ain't melting. And he said, get back, man, your face is melted. Them drugs had him stone crazy. But God saved him. Somewhere you have to make a decision. You can sit around all you want to and say, I want God to do something for me. What do you really want? What do you really want? There is no greater freedom in the world than you can choose what you want to do. But I don't understand how we choose it and leave God on the outside. You can't make a choice in this life and say, I'm going to do this or that. Because number one, it's not in man to know his way. Man doesn't know which way he's supposed to go. He's crazy. He'll always choose bad things. He'll always take the wrong road. He'll pick the wrong woman for a wife or vice versa for a husband. But if we take our time and say, wait a minute, let me see this thing out and see what it is before I make this decision. Oh, yeah, she's the one. He's the one. Hold up. You never really get to know people till you're married to them anyway. Everybody puts forth their best foot when you're dating. They open the car door for you, put you in, talk real nice and sweet and kind. And before the engagement is finished, before it is finished, he walks out ahead of you, get in the car on his side, and you go ahead and get in, baby. And then one, I don't know who these people were that told me that time. They said he had been opening the car door for me, so I was waiting for him to open the door. And he looked over and said, baby, come on, get in. Like, what's wrong with you? That you're gonna know who this person is truly after you marry them. And when you marry them, oh God, what is this? You start seeing stuff you never seen before. You're saying, wait a minute, is this you? You don't seem like the same person. He's not. Now you're seeing the real thing. Most people don't wait long enough to see the real thing. There's a lot you can see. Sometimes we tell ourselves, well, we can change it. I'm going to change this. It ain't going to, he'll be different. I can change it. Let Sister Rose send you a message this morning. You ain't changing no man. Oh, no. Oh, no. And anytime he do something that you want him to do, he wanted to do it. It's not because you wanted it. I want to do it. And they really think I asked him, and he said, yeah, he would. He was just so willing to do it. It's all about him. It's all about him. And so, if I'm going to choose somebody, at least choose somebody that God has ordained for you, that God has put in place. Otherwise, you don't want to just get hooked up with. And then we say, we're getting a divorce. How is that? How is that? You made a bad decision somewhere. Because marriage is supposed to be till death do us part. That's what it's supposed to be. And so if it's not that way and you're parting already, some of these people part immediately. We were talking to a person that came to this church a while back, and they said he got married, and when he got married, he went on and canceled as soon as it was over. He said, this is a mistake. I got to get out of here. You had to go that far, all the way to the altar, to find out that this ain't good. So I saw some things in my life with family members and people who made bad decisions, and they're still paying for it to this day. Sometimes you can make a decision that will really put you in a bad physical shape, but you chose that. See, so the only person that can reverse it is going to be you. So what am I going to do? I got to change some things I've done, and you got to make some choices in spite of the fact that other people you know and you are with don't share in that. Everybody's not in agreement with you. Everybody don't want to go where you want to go. Everybody don't want to get to know Jesus. Some of these people say, well, that's not my thing. One day you'll wish that it was. So as I look at this, I think, God, help your people to realize you don't have to be unhappy. You make choices that brings you that. If you want to be happy, you're going to have to make good choices. If you want to live a full, rich life, you're going to have to consider some things. I got to change this. Where do I go from here? What's my next step? Because we all think that we know. Oh, Lord, my grandmother, I thought she was the oldest thing on the planet and didn't have a clue what was going on. Yes, she did. She had a clue. She had more than a clue. The fact that I can make a choice says that I have an opportunity and privilege. Privilege. This is something I can do for myself. You can. And what we don't do is ask anybody. I'm getting ready to make a decision. Do you think this is good or bad? You got to stop for a moment and say, well, if I think you shouldn't. Well, if I knew you was going to say that, I'd have never asked you. Well, did you want to answer or not? People want you to answer them according to what they're feeling in their heart. So I'll go over and ask so-and-so because me and her, we think alike. That's bad. That's bad. So for a moment, I take my time and say, I'm going to do what I need to do and I'm going to do it right. If I don't want to look back in my life years later and say, only if I had done this. That's what I think about in my life every day. I'm so glad that I've lived my life that even to this point, I'm still doing what God wants me to do. Nothing's worse than coming to the end of your life knowing you screwed up everything all along the way and done a good job of it. And left things messed up and people's lives torn up all because of your choice. Said, no, I'm not going to just run out on my wife and leave my kids. Make a choice. No woman out there you playing with is worth that. They're not worth it. To take away, your wife is just as good as she ever was. You're just the idiot that start looking other places and over here and over there. Settle down and say, you know what? I'm going to thank God for what he's given me. And Solomon said, don't despise the wife of thy youth. You married her when she was young. She's not going to stay exactly the same. But if you love her, whatever changes that comes about, you're going to still love her. That's a fact. You're going to still love her like, God, I love you. Even though you may have some faults you didn't have when you got married. Everybody's body change. I mean, you could go to the gym 7 days a week and 24 hours a day. It's going to come a time your body going south whether you like it or not. See, it's all going to go the other direction. So I got muscle. They showed Jack LaLanne one time on TV. I think he was around 90 when he died. He looked it. And they showed him with his shirt off. He got muscles like this. And he's doing it. I'm thinking, baby, it's over. In your day, you had it going on, but now those muscles are saying, I'm tired. And you may still have a six-pack, but you have a hanging six-pack. So where the muscle ripples like this, it's going here. And it keeps coming down. You don't know what you're going to look like by the time you're dead. And so if you love somebody, you're going to stay with them. You're going to keep loving them in spite of the things that may differ with time. But you got the same problem. They laugh at women sometimes thinking, but baby, you got an issue too. If we stay together, we're the same age, you aging just like me. See, there are going to be some changes. But if you make a good choice, you won't be one of these people standing out here saying, I don't know. Baby, have you looked at yourself lately? Say, I looked at you and me. That's right. Yeah, I looked all right. And I sure looked at you too, so you ain't got nothing to say. There's some things that done changed on you from the time we met each other. Make good decisions based off a good solid thing. We need to reach for mates in our lives that have good character, that are solid. They know what it means to have integrity. They're ambitious for where they want to go. They're strong. They're not easily swayed away. Look for the inner qualities. The body's going to change on you. I don't care who you are. The skinniest of a person who's not even got no fat, it's going to change. Something says, how old are you? Look in the mirror and don't lie to yourself. Here it is, baby. And go on. You can't make no drastic changes, but they have more tucks and pulls and tightens and all these things, trying their best to fix it. Let me tell you, when it starts going south, you can't stop it. Look at everything and say, wow, what's going on? It's called age. It's called life. It's called things are changing as I go, day by day. I don't have the control over it, but I might as well choose somebody I want to live happily ever after with. And that when everything else is gone, we're still in love with each other no matter what. You can't get people don't marry for love. They marry for all these crazy reasons. Well, she turned me on, or he turned me on, or she's got what I've been looking for. What you was looking for is going to hide one day. It's not going to be present. Take a moment and say, I got to deal with what I got on the table. Look at what you got on the table and say, this is what I'm going to do. Quit just setting your eyes on outward beauty. It's going to change. It changes for everybody. So, what is this person made of? What about your character? Do you have any desire to serve God? Do you really want to be a wife? To be a wife requires a lot. And people, I think it's almost like buying a house. They said, Sister Rose, we used to go buy this house. The payment ain't but $600 a month. I said, have you figured up the insurance? You figured up all the upkeep that you can't call the landlord and say the toilet's stopped up? You got to pay the plumber. You got to pay the electrician. Have you counted all that up? It's more than just that. But you know, young people's mind is just like this. Real narrow. Yeah. We got it. We getting a house for $600. What else? They never count up the cost of everything. Same way with the people going out here getting a big car. Don't get a big car. The bigger the car, the bigger the tires are, and the more they cost. You're not going to put a bicycle tire. No. On a great big, huge car, SUV big, and you got a flat tire. Where's your spare? Spare? What's that? In case you run into something. In case things don't work. In case you have an accident. In case for some reason it didn't work. Like somebody cut my tire or got a nail in my tire. That tire could cost you $400. You said, what? And retreads don't always work either. We got some nice retreads. That means half of it or 3/4 of it's already gone. It's already gone. Think about it. So when you get ready to make a decision, say, Lord, first of all, I'm going to acknowledge you because you said if I acknowledge you, you would direct my path. That's what you said. So I'm acknowledging you. I'm asking you to help me. I got to make a decision. I'm not sure if it's right or wrong, but help me so I don't do it wrong. So you'll have a good life. Listen. He said, I've given you a land for which you did not labor, and cities which you built not, and you dwell in them, of the vineyards and olive yards, which ye planted not, do ye eat. Now therefore fear the Lord, serve him in sincerity and in truth, and put away the gods which your fathers served on the other side of the flood and in Egypt, and serve ye the Lord. And it seemed evil, and if it seems evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, Joshua said, we're going to serve God. Now, you think about it. What do you want to do with yours? For me and my house, we're going to serve God. That was a day when the men were strong and the wives, and they actually respected them, and they respected their decisions, and they honored them as such. And Joshua said, he didn't say me and my wife. He said me and my house going to serve God. So you may not want to do it, but what do you say to people that you live with and share your life with some way, somehow? We are going to do it right. The old saying, the home that prays together stay together, is true. But my grandmother used to call us in to prayer. I thought, why are you calling us in to pray in the middle of the day? They want you to come and pray about what? I didn't understand. Come in. And my grandma said when she raised her kids, she would call them from outside and say, come on in. And so the other kids would be laughing and say, they going to pray. But they came out better than you. Thank God my grandmother pulled us aside and said, let's pray. No, even when you didn't understand it. Thank you for doing this for me. Because I wouldn't be where I am today if she hadn't prayed. Took the time to call me in and talk to me and advise me and counsel me. And I listened when I didn't even want to. Didn't even want to, but I listened to what she said. Listen to this. It came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his sons judges over Israel. Now the name of his firstborn was Joel, and the name of his second Abishai, and they were judges in Beersheba. And his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, and took bribes, and perverted judgment. Then all the elders of Israel gathered themselves together, and came to Samuel unto Ramah, and said unto him, Behold, thou art old, and thy sons walk not in thy ways. Now make us a king to judge us like all the other nations. But the thing displeased the Lord. It displeased him and displeased Samuel. And Samuel said, you rather that God not lead you? You rather that God not be your king? That's who's led you all this time out of the wilderness and from Egypt. All these things has he done. And you saying you want somebody else to rule over you when God was your king. That's who's going to work it out for you. Listen to what it said. The Lord said unto Samuel, hearken unto the voice of the people and all that they say unto thee, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them. God says, hey, you want a king? I'm going to give you one. That king depressed them, turned them into slaves, took advantage of them, used them up in every sense of the word. And you know what? After he told them all this stuff, at the end, you know what they said? We still want a king. God said, I'm going to give you one, and here's what he's going to do to you. Since you rejected me, and you didn't stay with me, I'm going to give you a king, and he's going to do everything to you but what's right. I mean, he treated them like common slaves. Used them up, took advantage of them. The devil does the same thing to you when you make a decision that's not good, and then all of a sudden you've got all these problems and issues coming. That's why they're coming. That's why they're coming. So I don't want my mama telling me what to do. You might take that back. I took that back. You won't be out in the world very long before you find out this is a crazy place. You were so protected at home, you didn't even know that the world even existed like this. And you'll be so surprised at all the things that's said and done. And it's a good feeling to know that when I was home, I didn't have to worry about this. When I was home, I didn't have to worry about nobody doing this to me. When I was home, I was surrounded by love and people that cared. You get out in the world and you find out people really don't care. So we're in a hurry. I was too. I said, I got to get out of here. I'm waiting until I get grown and get out of here. These people do nothing but pray and go to church. I'm getting out. That's what I said. I left at 16. Mistake of my life. Oh, my God. Did I shed many tears? Did I think back many days of the things that my grandmother told me, but I didn't listen? All those things come to mind. I didn't have to live my life like this. Went through some tough times, difficult times, times I could have avoided had I just stayed home. I was waiting because you couldn't leave home unless you were 16. Otherwise, the truant officer come and pick you up for school. And I thought, as soon as I turn 16, I'm out of here, because I ain't gonna be picked up by a truant officer. I'm just gonna leave. So the day I planned to leave, my uncle was sitting on the door. Uncle Percy, my mother's brother, he was sitting on the door, and my grandmother had left. So I thought, as soon as she leave, I'm getting out. And so she left, and I got to the door, and my uncle said, I can't let you out. I said, what do you mean you can't let me out? He said, because everybody listened to Grandma, whether you was 10 or 90. If she said something, you listen. And so he said, I can't do it. Mama said, don't let you out. I said, I got to get out of here. By now, I'm a wreck. I got to get out. I've been thinking about things and doing things I shouldn't be doing and all kind of stuff, but I got to get out of here. I thought, well, you're going to go to the bathroom sometime today. And when you go to the bathroom, I'm history. And sure enough, he had to go to the bathroom. And when he did, I went out that door. Well, I didn't waste no time. I thought, can't live like this. I want to get out here and see what the world is about and what's wrong with boys. And she just keeps telling you they're no good. What's wrong with her? Be out there for a little while. It don't take long to say, boy, she was right. They're no good. Honestly, no good. In my day, it was nothing like it is in this day. Oh, my God. The stuff people are doing now is so far out, we wasn't even out there. But even so, it still was bad. And he said, now, if you want to let somebody else run your life, go ahead. You don't want to listen to mama, you don't want to listen to daddy, nobody's going to tell me nothing, this is my life, okay, go ahead. And that's what God did to Israel. Go ahead. You want a king? Here he is. Exactly what you asked for. And all these things. He said, this will be the manner of the king that shall reign over you. He will take your sons and appoint them for himself, for his chariots, and to be his horsemen. And some shall run before his chariots. Can you believe that? And he will appoint him captains over thousands and captains over 50, and will set them to ear his ground and to reap his harvest and to make his instruments of war and instruments of his chariots. And he will take your daughters to be confectionaries and to be cooks and to be bakers. And he will take your fields and your vineyards and your olive yards, even the best of them, and give them to his servants. He will take the tenth of your seed and of your vineyards and give to his officers and to his servants. He will take your men servants, your maid servants, your goodliest young men and your asses and put them to his work. He will take the tenth of your sheep, and ye shall be his servants. And you shall cry out in that day because of your king, which you have chosen, and the Lord will not hear you in that day. All of that, you're going to cry out, but I'm not coming back. See, that's the way people are. I get in the mess. Could you help me one more time? No, you're not getting help, none. You need to learn a lesson and learn it well. And I think sometimes we come to aid to too many people too soon. That's why they never learn. Don't come so soon. Give them time to find out what life is all about. Oh, it works out a whole lot better that way. And people soon come to their senses after a while. Most do. And they say, I got to change this. This is not right. And it's not. He said, make me to understand the way of thy precepts. So shall I talk of thy wondrous works. My soul melted for heaven, and strengthen thou me according to thy word. Remove from me the way of lying, and grant me thy law graciously. I have chosen the way of truth. Thy judgments have I laid before me. I have stuck unto thy testimonies, O Lord. Put me not to shame. David said, I chose the right way. Ask yourself this morning while you're sitting on the pew and God's talking to you, what wrong path did I take? What decisions have I made the reason why I went through what I went through? Some things we don't have to ever go through. See, I believe it's good if you can learn from somebody else. If you messed up and you jumped off the cliff and it killed you, I ought to follow that and say, you know what? I'm not going to do that. Look what happened to him. Look what happened to this person. But somehow, we tend not to even follow other people's mistakes to the point of saying, I watched you and I saw your end. I decided I wasn't going to do it. You're better off. You're better off. You say, no. I saw what happened to Sister So-and-so in the church when that came about. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. You must understand, if God wants my life to be the best he can give us. That's why he said, I came that you might have life and have it more abundantly. I want you to have abundant life, and most people don't have it. They don't know from one day to another what's going to happen. They live 1 second at a time, constantly in a mental state of trying to make decisions that's not good. Back and forth in your mind, thinking what I should do. And when you finally get up and make and do some type of action, it's the wrong thing that you did. So listen, God is saying, I want to make your life full. I want to make it rich. I want you to let me have it. Let me have it. Let me take care of it. You don't want to do that. You try to tell people, okay, if the Lord bless you with a lot of money, don't spend it all up. I've seen people in this church come to get settlements and all kind of things. Had not one thing to show for it. He said, what you do with the money? I don't know. You should sit down with somebody if you don't have the common sense and say, you know what? Could you help me with this? You don't know what it is. It's almost like kids. My kids, if I could give them $10, but just make it a $10 bill, I don't want that. They want the 10 ones. Why? Because it makes them seem like they got more money. I don't want just a $10. I want that. You got the same thing. What you going to do with it? Whether it's in ones or whether it's a solid $10 bill. So what are you going to do with it? They don't know the value of it. Watch your kids when they're growing up and you give them something. They have no idea what the value of money is. That's why money may be over there by a trash can. They going on playing. They don't understand. Young people don't understand. It's so much that you think you know, but you don't know it. Old people don't understand. You think you know, but you don't. You're in the same position. I'm either young and ignorant or old and dumb. One or the other. I got to decide, what do I do here? What's the next move? Should I make this move? No, you shouldn't. Well, what's wrong with it? Looks like it's a perfect time. It ain't going to work. Why? As you age, if you allow yourself, you begin to explore things and watch people and situations and understand without a doubt that my life is going to be in a position of where I have put it. My pain I'm feeling right now is something I did. Something you did. We saw Clint yesterday, and his back was in so much pain. And the guys work out very hard, and he's almost 60 years old. And they jumping up on these high boxes. I had some of them boxes. I told my grandson, I said, you better take these with you. So I can tell you right now, I'm not going to make it from the ground up here. That's not going to happen. Just face to face the music. As you get older, what this young man is doing, you can't do it like my grandson. He went out there playing basketball. Was it football, honey? Was it football when you was in such bad shape the next day you was sore and hurting? And what was that? That was football? Way back. You don't even remember it so far back. I got you. But it didn't take you long to find out them young boys out there, you can keep up with them boys. The age ain't going to let you do this. So Clint jumps up on one of the high boxes. So you got a stool like this, and one up here. Don't be no fool. And he jumped up on that box that's 2 feet tall, 2 or 3 feet tall. Jumps up because he see the young guys doing it. He's in pain for that. See, you look over and say, oh, well, what's that woman Jane Fonda used to say, every horse got to run his own race? If you ain't the same horse, don't try running that race. That's true. Don't try to be that horse out that's been trained and made a few laps and went, honey, you ain't there. I mean, let's deal with what's in front of us and make some decisions based upon where my life is right now. Not on what I would like to have in the future. What am I able to do now? You have to understand that. And don't get uptight about it. See, because there is going for sure to be times in your life you're going to have to make a decision and somebody may laugh at you. And say, come on, you can do this. I said, no, baby, I can't. I ain't got to prove nothing. See, my proving days are gone. You'll prove it as you go through life and young. But, baby, once you get up here, you ain't worried about proving jack. See, if I ain't proved it by now, I ain't getting ready to start now. See, it ain't going to work. So, I often go back to this because it's so funny. Me and Dave used to work out together. And we got a power plate. A power plate is a machine that really builds your muscles without you having to really do lightweight. In fact, it's a lot more intense. So Daisy, we had my little grandson out there with us, and Daisy was down sitting on the power plate, and she was trying to get up. And so she turned to the left, and that didn't work. She turned to the right, and that didn't work. Because, see, as you get older, you can't sit as low. You have to be a little higher. And so he's over here. And so my little grandson, look, he said, he's trying to figure out what's the problem. So finally he said to Daisy, he said, Miss Daisy, you just need to get up. She knows that, but she can't. That's why she went to the left and she went to the right. Because somewhere, hopefully, I'm going to be able to push this up. And I used to say when I see old people, oh, well, I'm thinking, why they walk so slow? Hey, come on. They just can't get going, can they? Keep on living. Keep on living. Oh, because it doesn't seem like, why can't you just get up? And why can't you just go on out the door? Why is it taking you this long? Yeah. You don't understand. Keep living. You make choices at every stage of your life. When you're young, when you get middle-aged, when you get older, whatever, you make choices. And you got to determine what you can have and what you can't. And what I can do and what I cannot do. And know that if I make a good choice, I'm going to come out okay. Don't try to show off for nobody. I didn't want them to think I couldn't keep up. Go ahead. There was a day I couldn't. There was a day I could. Now I recognize I cannot. I cannot. I see it. It looks like you can. Except when I start moving, it don't move. I used to, when I was young, I was a very, very immaculate housekeeper. I worked from early morning when I got my husband off to work until night. And I changed bedrooms around. Nobody with me. Switching rooms, changing this, changing that. Charles come in, he don't know which way the bed going to be turned next day. And you know what? Aging is something that you're not conscious of. So you're still living, you look like the same person fairly well, and whatever, but as little bit by little bit, it creeps up on you. And you start saying, Tim, what's wrong? I said, what's wrong? I said, Tim, I could just jump up off that thing. You ain't jumping no more. So do I make a decision? Or do I just say that, well, I'm going to show everybody I've still got it? No, you don't. You are limited in this life. And what you do, the choice you make, no matter what it may be and what it may be about, make the one that works best for you. Because the same thing don't work for everybody. And we have to come to realization of that and say, you know what? I've got to do this right. Let me give it some thought. Don't do things before you think it through. Think through it. Is this going to work? Think about it. Then you make a decision based upon whether during the time that you were contemplating doing something, I'm giving it great thought to be sure I don't be sad that I did it. And you don't have to. You don't have to. See? It came to pass as they went that he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. But Martha was cumbered about much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister hath left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore that she help me. And Jesus answered and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou art careful and troubled about many things, but one thing is needful, and Mary hath chosen that good part which shall not be taken away from her. You worried about the chicken and the potatoes. Honey, she's getting something from God. He said, Martha, you're busy with many things, but Mary chose the good part. What was the good part? To sit at Jesus' feet and learn about him. And she loved spending time with him. That's the place where true joy, true happiness come, when you can sit at his feet and learn about him and let him teach you what you need to know. Don't be so quick to think you know. Sit at the feet of Jesus and learn from him. That's a very important, very important. But she said, she's just ignoring me. No, she's not. She found the good part. When you find the good part, stay with it. Hold on to it. It's going to bring you good rewards. It'll bless your life. It'll give you knowledge in areas that you didn't have before. So I'm going to sit at his feet and learn. Don't say I get saved and Sister Rose, the Lord called me to preach. How long you been saved? 2 days. Go take a seat. He called you to preach? You don't even understand. You don't have a clue what it's about. But while she's worrying about one thing that's temporary, her sister is feeding off of that which is permanent. What's permanent in your life? That's going to be there tomorrow, the next day, the next week, months from now, you'll still be there. Think about it. What's permanent in your life? What are you trying to build on? Don't build on people's word. People don't keep their word. You build off the promises of God in his word. Very, very important. So I'm going to make a decision that I'm not going to be sad that I did it, that I cry my heart out for years to come and tell myself, if only I had not done that. If only I had made another decision. If only I could change that. You can't go back and fix yesterday. But we do have control over what we do today and tomorrow. Should we be here? Think about it. Where are you now? Where are you in your life? You know, nothing's worse than being in between. I don't know where I'm going. Well, will you know in a few minutes? No, I still don't know where I'm going. You need to get balance and stay with it. Make the right decision, and you won't have to keep switching it. Because somebody's going to come along and tell you, I don't think you did the right thing myself. And somebody else is going to come along and say, I don't think you did the right thing. If I were you, I'd have done it this way. Or I'd have done it that way. You can't pay attention to what people say. They all say the same thing. They all mix you up. This person thinks this person thinks that. Like the story on the man with the donkey. He's walking down the street, okay. He's riding on the donkey. He's got his little son walking along with him. Some people said to him, hey, it looks terrible, that old man. He's up there on top of that donkey riding it, and a little boy walking on the side. Okay. So he gets off, puts his boy up on the donkey. Got to another crowd, look at that. Old as his father is, he's walking while he's riding the donkey. That doesn't. Is there any consideration for your father? Go down the road, and somebody's father got down, put the stuff that they were traveling with over the back of the donkey, and said, "Look at that. Why would they laden that donkey like that? All that stuff on his back. How would you feel if it's on your back?" You know what happened to him? At the end of the road, he ended up falling into the river with all his goods, his son and all, and drowned because they couldn't stop listening what somebody thought you ought to do. I don't care what you think. You know what I found out in life is part of maturing? Part of maturity is I don't care what you think. That's the truth. Because somebody's always there to tell you ain't doing it right. Oh, that you shouldn't do that. Oh, no, wait on that. Well, be careful, mama. I get that a lot. And I know they mean me well. I know they do. But they're saying all the time, sometimes when you tell, I don't even say what I'm getting ready to do because they're going to say, Mama, you think you should do that? Yeah. Here come the other one in the room. You know what Mama said she's going to do? What? Mama, you think you should? Yeah. Here come the other one. Mama said she's going to do such and such. You don't think you can do that, do you? And I start getting real rubbed. I'm thinking, I'm about tired of all this advice. Let me try it. If I hurt my leg, I'll be all right. Because some things is just plain, they want to help Mama. Mama's much older now. She's not as vibrant and got all this vitality and what have you. I don't have it. I just make it up. Make the best of it. laugh about it. Because I realize it could be worse. I really do. And I'm thankful that having come to this time in my life to help me to resign myself to these things. Every time you get to this point, resign yourself. This is it. Change your decision. You can do it like this. I told my kids the other day, I'm going to Denver with y'all for dinner. We used to go as a family at Christmas time. And he said, Mama, you going through all this? Are you really going? I said, yeah, I'm going this time. I'm really going. I mean, I'm going. I said, come back around 3:30. I'll be ready to go. But that nerve, that sciatic nerve had me in the game. And I said, so Nisa got back, and I was still trying to get ready, put my clothes on. Oh, my God, this pain is killing me. She said, Mama, maybe you better not go. I said, I'm going. The closer it comes time, I said, I don't think I'm going. I just don't think I'm going. This pain is, I thought to myself, am I going to be able to preach this morning? Because that thing is not playing. I thought now, here's the thing about making choices. Would I have liked to have gone? Yeah. I said, y'all can just bring me something back. I'm not going to go. And had I went on and did it anyway, everybody at dinner would have been not having a great time. Because they're looking over at me thinking I'm saying, oh, don't move. But I'm preaching this morning without the pain. Praise God for the victory. Yes. If you never had it, take it from me. You don't want to have it. Listen to this. Paul said, for to me to live is Christ, and to die is gain. But if I live in the flesh, this is the fruit of my labor, yet what I shall choose, I want not. I don't know what to do. For I'm in a strait betwixt two, having a desire to depart and to be with Christ, which is far better. Nevertheless, to abide in the flesh is more needful for you. And having this confidence, I know that I shall abide and continue with you all for your furtherance and joy of faith, that your rejoicing may be more abundant in Jesus Christ for me by my coming to see you again. He said, I'm in a fix. I really want to get out of here. I'd like to go to heaven. I'm tired. I'm worn. But for your sake, I remain in this body that you might be helped, that you might be blessed. Because everybody ain't going to be a blessing to you. When God gives you somebody who loves you and respects you and want to help you, cling to him. Because man is about himself. He don't care a lot about doing anything for anybody. So thank God that I got somebody in my life they're stable. Don't put people in your life that's not stable. Because then you get shaky. But get you somebody that's stable, that's been around, that's learned a few things, that's experienced some things. Wait a while. Trust their knowledge. Trust their wisdom. It'll take you a long way. Help you in a great way. But if you do it your way and you don't stop for a minute to say, you know what? I don't know if I should do that. Sometimes, I guess every person in this building probably experienced this. You got ready to do something, you felt an inkling maybe you shouldn't. Just that little feeling that, I don't know if I should do it. And you did it anyway and had bad consequences as a result of it. So look at this, say, you know what? Before I jump up in a moment, I'm going to take a moment to think it through. You don't have to talk right now, just think it through. And then, once you think it through, then make a decision. One that you can live with. One that will be a benefit to you. Not these fast things, these rash things we do in a moment, only to wake up and realize we shouldn't have did it. And quit worrying about what people are going to think if you don't agree with them. It's okay. It's okay for people to disagree with you, and it's all right. Don't feel like I got to do this because they'll hurt their feelings. No, here's what I got to do, whatever it is. So ask the Lord, say, Lord, put a desire in me to seek you in all thy ways, acknowledge him. He will direct your path what to do. I'm going to start that as of today. There's just people all over this building sitting right in that position. I got involved with this. I wish I hadn't. I wish I hadn't did that. But you can't fix it. Some things happen in the spur of the moment that is out of our control. In that situation, God is saying, let me take care of it. You don't have to. I'm closing on this note. I thought about Damien's uncle. He worked for the power company on the island. And he was up on the post, and somebody was supposed to turn the power off because he had to disconnect some stuff up there. So he says he's on this ladder, and I forget how many thousands of voltage is in that. And he hollered down to the man and said, "Is the power off?" He said, "It's a go." It wasn't a go. It burned his arms off up to here. He fell off that ladder, rushed him to the hospital, and when he came to, because the arms was just hanging, the meat was just flushed, everything's hanging. I forget how many voltages they said it was. Somebody said the wrong thing, and he really didn't get what the truth was. And look at where I'm at today. And this man is, at last time I talked to James, depressed to death. Because they said trying to fight him killing himself with taking the part of his arm that was left and turn on the bathroom water. He couldn't make it happen. He wanted to drown himself in the tub, 30-something years old. That's a lot of life. You haven't even begun to live all of your life. So think about it. Somebody may say something just like that. It's a go! And blow your brains out. Put you in a state of mental anxiety, physically broken and messed up. Think about it. It may not be a go. And don't just take it, go. They never tell me nothing wrong. Your trust is in him up there. That's the one you want to trust. He never tells you anything wrong. Always right. God bless you. Will our musicians and singers please come forward? And you said, Lord, I'm going to go up for prayer this morning so I can get my life in order, and I want you to start directing my path. Direct my path. He'll direct you if you acknowledge him. He'll tell you when to do it, how to do it. And that may be through a person. It may be through a spiritual leader. It may be somewhere, but God's going to make it plain to you. Listen to it.